Okay, welcome back. How is the pull and pause practice going? I hope you have been bringing in all kinds of curiosity and compassion around this practice, and that maybe you're discovering some things you hadn't before. Maybe you have to think less about the pause the more you practice. We get to kind of wire that in, that when you feel the pull, the pause becomes the next natural response to the pull. So pull, pause, and in the pause, we're asking, what type of hunger is this? Is it stomach hunger? Is it head hunger? Or is it heart hunger? Okay, now that you've determined that, it comes the third step. So pull, pause, feel the pull, add a pause, and now we're going to choose a path. This is where I invite you to step into permission. As a grown-up, you have permission to choose to do whatever you want in response to that pull to food. What am I saying here? If you want to eat, eat. You have permission to do that. Forgive yourself for not knowing any other way to do it at this point. And in that forgiveness, you open up the opportunity for you to play around with possibly doing it a different way. You see, humans don't thrive under the hard ass coach or the mean girl in your head. We like to think we do, and society has told us that if we are not succeeding at something, we need to buckle down more. We need to come down harder on ourselves. What we need is discipline and willpower to make our way through this. How has that been working for you? I would guess that you're perhaps ready to try it a different way, because trying harder at what is not working is never going to work. So let me invite you into a different way. And it includes permission. Now, that can feel scary, because the voice that comes up in your head may say, Irene, trusting myself here is what got me into trouble in the first place. If I take the reins off this thing, I take my hands off the wheel on this thing, I'm hightailing down a path of, gluttony and eating all the things. And something to consider, it makes sense that you would feel that way, right? There's a bit of a relearning to trust yourself that happens in this, and trusting that there is, in fact, a different way to do this. What I invite you to consider is that you can always go back to whatever way you're doing now, anytime you want. If that hasn't been working for you, maybe you want to try something else. Know that you've got the safety of always going back to the way you were doing it before anytime you want. Just because you choose to try something different right now doesn't mean that you have to commit to doing that forever. We think we do, right? It's like the one time I choose the salad instead of the fries, I'm declaring to the world that I'm now a salad eater instead of a fry eater, and I have to now commit to being no fries ever again. It's an inconvenience of being human. It's something that we do, but it doesn't have to be that way. So when you feel your pull, add the pause, and now you're at the point of choosing a path. You have an endless number of paths you can choose, and one of them includes eating food. If you're having a hard time giving yourself permission that you can choose any one of those things, I'll let you borrow it from me for a little while. You can borrow it as long as you like, until you believe it to be true and can say it out loud for yourself. You have permission to choose. So in that permission, what would you choose? How do you know where to start? This is where the experimenting comes in. And this is, again, curiosity and compassion. Maybe if you're feeling heart hunger, there's something you could do instead of food that would nourish you in a different way. Maybe it's something like taking a moment to yourself when you're in a crowded house, a beautiful place to do that. Guess what? The bathroom. Close the door. You may have toddlers that want to come in, but even they can take a few minutes away for you to just take a minute to yourself. Maybe it's something of self-care, like taking some time to read a book or taking a bath, or maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's making yourself a cup of warm tea. There's an endless number of things here. And I bet if you really paused for a minute and asked yourself, what else could I try here? What could I try here instead of food? You're likely going to come up with at least a few things to start with. So try those. One time you choose food, one time you choose, I like to listen to music. I have a certain song that, a certain set of songs that I find kind of bring my emotional state a little more level. One of them is Louis Armstrong. Oh, every time Louis just brings me back to a world that's wonderful. See if you can play around with what one of those might be for you. So this is a place to play. And here's the thing, you can't get it wrong. Because every time you try something, you're learning more information. You're learning about what did work and what didn't work. Both are equally important. And with this strategy, there's no track. There's no way to be on or off track, because all of it is what it looks like to figure it out. The track you're on is, this is what it looks like to figure this out. Every piece of information, you can't even go backwards. There's no going back. It's all contributing to you figuring this out for yourself. So that's the kind of 3 steps to managing is the wrong word. That's the 3 steps to using the invitation to food as something positive that you can use to add these moments of pause in your day, mindful moments that, geez, we need now more than ever. Pull to food becomes an invitation to pause. It becomes an invitation to awareness and mindfulness, and it can shift so many things in your life with just that simple pull that you're going to feel because you're human. Pull, pause, and choose your path. And practice. You got this. I'm rooting for you.